So tell me what you make of the debt situation in the US. Is it all just the usual political theatre and fireworks, or is it a consequential discussion about real underlying economic stability in the US?
Well, looking at the figures, Tamar, it really seems to me it's a Democratic victory. Yeah, will it get through the House? Possibly. I think so, actually. There'll be the usual right wing of the Republican Party who will vote against it, but it'll have Democratic support. I've looked at what it does. Well, I mean, it basically allows borrowing to go forward until well into 2024. It makes cuts to the IRS increase in their funding, which is probably not a clever idea. Probably means a lot of more rich people will continue to get away with not paying their taxes or their due share of taxes. And it cuts 50 billion from spending, which, as I work it out, is about 0.2% of GDP and a bit higher, 0.56% of total federal government spending, which frankly is a statistical error in terms of its impact on growth. I would imagine very, very little indeed. So once again, we've had all this enormous kerfuffle and tension about the debt ceiling not being renewed. The spending was passed, but the debt ceiling is how it gets financed. So it was an economically illogical anyway. But I would say it's more than likely that it's over now, until it happens again.
Until it happens again. But at least after the next election, so perhaps it won't be quite so politically fraught. But look, amidst all of this, there is the usual kabuki going on, because we're entirely ignoring the military spending efforts of this. I mean, if we're talking about US debt, if we're talking about the spending of the US government, how can we have this conversation and not acknowledge that military spending is still ramping up ridiculously high?
Well, you see, I don't think it's ridiculous. I think military spending worldwide is going to go higher. The increases in the US have already been approved as regards to spending. What came into this particular debt deal was that the financing of them has now been approved, because the military spending is quite clearly untouched in this agreement.